of Dudes at Ringside podcast with the Metal Geek and Joe the Panther. And of course, I am greatness himself, Mr. Chad Epic, telling you to stop entertaining thoughts of greatness. And like greatness himself, that's me, entertain you.
Hello there, wrestling fans. I'm Joe the Panther Jr. to Dudes at Ringside podcast. And now introducing the Metal Geek.
What's up, Ringside crew? How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Dudes at Ringside podcast. I'm your host, the Metal Geek, and my host, Joe the Panther Jr.
Yes, it's me.
All right. Today we have a special guest with us today, Joe.
Yes. Well, I think you better take this one. You had a lot to do with this one.
All right.
Go for it.
So, introducing from 90.3 The Shark, 94.3 The Shark, it's Orlando.
What's going on, fellas? How are you?
What's going on, dude?
What's going on, man?
What's going on?
Thanks for having me, man. This is cool.
Welcome to Dudes at Ringside podcast, my friend. Welcome.
Any chance to hang out with some cool dudes and talk wrestling is all right with me.
Of course. Hey, James. Another
What's
one of
going
our friends that comes on the show a lot. James Axel.
So what do you guys want to talk about, man?
You want to start with, you heard the big news, right? That just dropped or no? It's not official yet, but apparently WWE and MLW are working together.
Okay.
It's not 100% official, but
listen, when it comes to rumors like this, I learned a long time ago, you're only going to hear what they want you to hear.
Yeah.
These guys are very smart, and not a lot of stuff leaks without somebody wanting you to know. Yeah. So if it's legit, there's a good chance that that's the reason why you know a little bit about it. Who broke the news?
I think it might be What Culture, or might broke the news earlier today. So,
I mean, listen,
Meltzer was saying something about it too earlier.
Well, that guy, look, yeah. I'm a diehard wrestling fan. I love everything about it. Personally, even with like the rumors and stuff, at this point in my life, at 43 years old, I just kind of want to wait to see what happens. Mm-hmm. Like when it happens, great. If the rumors were right, great. If they weren't, you know, there was a time when my mother used to slap me upside the head when she would get the phone bill because I was calling all those wrestling hotlines for like $2 a minute.
Oh, jeez.
Want to know what happened and stuff. And now it's just kind of like, whatever.
Yeah, you go online and go, oh, he lost. Oh.
Exactly. Yeah. Look, I thought WrestleMania was amazing. I thought it was probably the best WrestleMania in quite some time.
Were you there or
no?
Did you go? There you go.
I was in the next room on my couch with a tequila.
Wow.
I love going to live events. I do. Like, I miss it. But a big pay-per-view like that, I'd rather be at home.
Yeah.
Going to a house show? Absolutely. Monday Night Raw? Sure. Big pay-per-view? It's Sunday night, bro. I'm up at 4:30 in the morning. I'd rather just be sitting on my couch.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. One day we all hang out. We'll go to NYWC. We'll go to MSG. We'll all hang out, have some brews, you know.
NYWC is a great place to see wrestling. They got some really cool talent. Uh-huh. And, you know, you see some pretty big guys there. I saw Zach Gowen there. I saw the FBI, Tommy Dreamer. Uh-huh. And it's still got this little independent wrestling feel. You know, it's this tiny little place. You see some big names, and it's affordable. You know, your parents can go with their kids.
Yeah, completely. One of my first experience meeting an actual like WWE associate, like superstar, I met Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins.
Yeah, before they went to.
I have a picture on the Dudes at Ringside page. I was just walking around the hallways, and they were walking by, and I think it was a week before they left. And I was like, "Can I take a picture with you?" They're like, they're heels. They're like, oh, should we do? We're heels. And I'm like, guys. And then I just did this, and they were. I didn't realize. When you're looking at the camera, you don't look at what the people are doing. Most people are like looking. I'm just like, and they're pointing at me. And I actually, when I went to WrestleMania 35, when they won the tag titles, I had the picture in my pocket, and right as I think Zach was doing the Rough Rider or whatever he does, I had the picture in my hand, and when the referee kind of doing the bell rang, I looked at the picture. Geek had said, yeah, he did. I was like, oh my god!
That's when he won the Intercontinental title?
No, when he won the tag titles in MetLife at 35.
Oh man,
that was.
I'm blanking on it. I'm sorry, fellas.
I would love that. Yeah, I see. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of where I was. I was at maybe the Coliseum. He won a big match because he was home.
Yeah.
Or maybe he wasn't. Maybe he didn't win, but there was a big deal.
I think I was
at the
at
National Coliseum with him a couple of years ago, and I was there.
There's always a big deal with him at the Coliseum.
I sat with his dad. They put me in the friends and family section to watch. I think it was Monday Night Raw, and his dad was there. And I think Ryder won in like a minute.
Wow.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking about.
Was it Kurt Hawkins? He may have versus Kurt Hawkins.
Don't remember. I'm jealous that you guys have been to a WrestleMania. It's the one thing I've never done. I've been to SummerSlam, Survivor Series. I was at Evolution. Never made a WrestleMania.
What if you could tell the people, there's a lot of people that are listening to our podcast or watching our podcast on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. What is like your favorite like independent wrestling federation that's in like Long Island that you would tell people to go to?
I mean, I would have to say Full Faith Wrestling because last year they made me their general manager, which was a lot of fun. This guy, Mike Magnum, he wrestles for AEW now. He's the Starving Artist. It's his federation, and he does a lot of outreach. Now, take the religious aspect out of it. Mike is, big into that. I'm not. We get along just fine because we're both working for a common goal. We want to, do a lot for charity. We worked with suicide prevention. We worked with veterans. And he asked me to be the general manager. It was like one of the coolest things I've ever done. I got to come out to the Ultimate Warrior theme music.
Oh, that's awesome.
Childhood geek stuff right there.
That is so cool.
He gets some really big names. He had Glacier. He had the Full-Blooded Italians. What's his name? Shannon Moore.
Oh, I know Shannon. Yeah.
Really good names, man. And it's, it's family friendly, $10 a ticket wrestling.
Oh, wow.
At the NYWC Sportatorium. So if things open up soon, man, I would love to take you guys to a show.
Yeah, I'll definitely. You find out when the shows open up, and if it's I'll probably be around. Just send the thing to Geek, and I'll tell my folks I'll just come down for the weekend, and we all just hang out, have some brews, get some.
It's a fun arena because, like I said, it's so intimate.
Yeah,
you can still get some cool wrestling merchandise at intermission and stuff like that.
That's the one thing that I told this to Geek, and other people have ripped on me. Every time I would go to an NYWC show, I would always go just enough to have my ticket in my pocket, and I never got my, because I love wearing hats. I'm always like, I'm like, I'll get myself a hat. Nope, no money that day. I'll just get myself a picture. Okay, that's all I'm gonna get. That's all I got was a picture or a disposable camera.
Have you guys ever been to a House of Hardcore show?
No, I always wanted to go to one of those, to be honest.
Tommy Dreamer puts on some of the best wrestling shows because all the guys that are in AEW, all the guys that are big names today, Tommy found all those guys. Like if you look back to his House of Hardcore shows from 6-7 years ago, half the guys that are rising stars today or big stars today started at House of Hardcore.
Oh, wow.
Some of my best moments in my career were working with Tommy shows. Like he would come on 94.3 The Shark and he would promote House of Hardcore. He was always so personable and so great to us. At the end of, it was May 19th, 2017, he did a House of Hardcore show in St. James. You're asking about the best independent shows. And, the card was stacked. At the very end of the night, it was him and Sandman in the ring. And the very last thing that they did, and I'm just a little wrestling geek like everybody else, man. I'm no one. Tommy called me in the ring and he said, "This is for helping me out." And I got to drink a beer with the Sandman and Tommy Dreamer in the middle of the ring.
Wow.
Wow, that's awesome.
Amazing.
So as far as my favorites, for that alone, it's got to be House of Hardcore.
That's awesome, dude.
That's so cool.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of wrestling talent, and there's a lot of guys right here from Long Island that have, made it big or are on the cusp of making it big. If everything opens up again, I think you're going to see a ton of fun independent wrestling shows around here because everybody's dying to get out and see some wrestling.
And there's also, I was saying this on a few episodes. Was it last episode, Geek, or was it before it? I'm the type of person that says, like, you should reach out to this person. I've been saying this since last week and for a while. Since indie wrestling is like, right now it's struggling and they can't do shows.
It's a
Go on Wrestle Tees and buy merchandise. If you don't know the Wrestling Federation, just go on there and buy a random Indie Feds t-shirt. And like, I know you'd probably suggest the same thing. That gives them money. You know,
great message. And why not?
These guys are struggling, right now. So
look, I think to this day, the number one question I'm asked when I'm at an event is, "Do you have a t-shirt?" People love t-shirts.
I love
That's
it.
the one thing that you put anybody's face on a t-shirt and they're going to buy it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you get a t-shirt for free and it's like handing somebody gold. So if you buy somebody's t-shirt, wear somebody's t-shirt, represent their brand, that's huge.
Yeah, 100%. Like, and it's funny. Another thing that people are wearing now because it's a pandemic. Also, you could buy masks with the group. They probably with like NYWC. I saw like the Ring of Honor ones. I don't know if NYWC is selling masks with their name on it yet, but they should.
I think I've seen.
Doesn't Jericho have one? Doesn't Chris Jericho have a gator?
I think so.
You could buy like the things that you pull up over your nose.
I think so.
I mean, that was a brilliant move. The guys that jumped on that from the beginning last year when they started to mandate masks, the guys that jumped on that as a merchandising scheme, that was huge.
100%. Like,
100%.
I'm actually one of my friends said to me, "Oh, Joe, get your name out there. You should make a mask." And I'm like, I work in a grocery store and I'm like, I have ADD. You think that wearing a mask won't get me in trouble? The girls get me in trouble for talking to them. The mask could make me get in stream. I'll be cleaning the parking lot for 2 years.
What's it like in Pennsylvania as far as restrictions? Do you have capacity restrictions in bars and stuff?
Yeah, like a lot of the bars aren't open. The restaurants by my house, a lot of them are still to go. A lot of the bigger restaurants, they're doing like to go, or you can eat in house. You just have to be careful with like wear the masks till when the waiter is there. You can take the mask off and eat, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But movie theaters now are like at like 10% by my house. But
you can rent a movie theater here on Long Island.
Yeah.
It's something like $150. You could rent it, and it's like you and 10 of your friends. I was honestly thinking of doing that with something. One of the Marvel movies or something that just came out. What did Black Widow come out yet?
No, not yet. July,
right?
July.
Maybe we'll do it for that.
Yeah.
Oh, it was Mortal Kombat that just came out.
Mortal Kombat was awesome, by the way.
I haven't seen it. I heard it's great.
I loved
How
it.
old are you guys?
What?
How old are you guys?
I'm 38.
35.
All right, so you're around the same age. I'm 43.
Yeah.
You knew where every Mortal Kombat machine was on Long Island, every pizza place that had one, every deli, and you'd be walking on the street and you could hear the kids standing in the back of the store banging on that Mortal Kombat machine. It was the video game.
I have a funny story for you, Orlando. My uncle, he works in like the gaming machine stuff. So like my uncle got an original Street Fighter arcade game in his basement. He had one night. He even told me, "Randy, you got to go." I was at his house, literally playing Street Fighter till like 12 midnight.
Street Fighter 2 or the very first one?
The first one.
So where you can only be Ryu.
No, it's part 2. It's part 2 because you could be all the characters. Everybody's in it.
Okay.
And I found a cheat that you do the sonic boom. You do like you slap the joystick sideways and you push the buttons twice and you go sonic boom, sonic boom.
Yeah.
I filled the scream up with sonic booms. My cousins hated playing me. because I knew how to do it. My uncle said, "Do this," and he taught me how to open up the bottom part and get the extra points, the credits. He knew.
There's an interesting story about Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. You know how you ever see the movie Street Fighter?
Oh yeah, I saw that movie.
I haven't seen it though.
Van Damme plays Guile.
Yeah.
And that was sort of an FU to Midway, because if you watch the Mortal Kombat video game, Johnny Cage looks a lot like Van Damme. One of the Johnny Cage finishing moves, he does the split and he hits the guy in the balls.
Yeah.
That's a Van Damme move.
Yep.
Mortal Kombat was supposed to be based around Johnny Cage, who was supposed to be Van Damme. And something, I don't know there's a couple of different stories, but I think it was Universal Soldier. Van Damme was doing a movie and he couldn't get the rights or get freed from his contract to do Mortal Kombat. And there was a big fight over it. So Mortal Kombat just became its own thing. And they used Johnny Cage as Van Damme. And then Van Damme turned around and did the Street Fighter movie, sort of as like a screw you.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. So one of our guests, our followers, James Axel, he wants to know a little bit about you.
I'm not that interesting, fellas.
I read the comment when he was saying it, and I was like, okay, I got to eventually ask that question, because James was like, guys, I asked the question, you didn't. James is like James is a YouTuber.
Okay.
And he came on a show last week, and I know James would totally be like, you didn't answer my question. So
I'm just a Long Island kid, James. I'm from Ronkonkoma. My parents were from Queens. I became a wrestling fan when I was 7 or 8 years old. It was something my grandmother and I did together. I lived in an Italian household. So the only time we were not yelling at each other was when we were yelling at the TV, watching wrestling. The Ultimate Warrior is my all-time favorite wrestler. I have 4. The Warrior, Kerry Von Erich, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, and Rowdy Roddy Piper. I was lucky enough, my mother and my grandmother took me to every wrestling show as a kid. I got to see them all at the Garden, the Meadowlands. My first pay-per-view ever was Survivor Series 97 when Shawn Michaels lost the belt to Sid.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Getting into radio 15 years ago allowed me the chance to develop a relationship with some of these guys, some of which, my career was made thanks to some of these guys. Like Tommy Dreamer is one of the biggest reasons I have a career. He helped me so much throughout the last 15 years. Orlando, who's the favorite wrestler I met? Craig, that's a little difficult because I'm telling a story about Tommy Dreamer right now. Like Tommy on such a personal level has helped me that I would have to say him. But back in 1996, the Ultimate Warrior did a autograph signing at a comic book store at the Smith Haven Mall that's no longer there. I was there since like 4 a.m. I was a complete psycho sitting there by myself. It was just me and the mall walkers. My grandmother came and they told us, he's not a very nice guy. Just take your picture and move. He was so enamored by the fact that there was a 75-year-old woman there to see him.
Wow.
And, she's like rubbing his arms like, well, Grandma, don't touch him. Oh, Grandma can touch me. He's hugging her. Treated her like a queen, like an absolute queen, and defied every single rumor that they ever said about him. There was nobody nicer than the Ultimate Warrior that day.
Wow.
I think the coolest guy I met was Ricky Steamboat.
Oh, I would have loved to have met him. I'm jealous.
To Ricky Steamboat,
where'd you meet him?
I met him in Elizabeth, New Jersey at the Ring of Honor show. And I paid for 1 autograph, right? I said, can you sign my DVD? He goes, I'm going to sign this DVD and I'm going to sign a personalized photo.
Oh, wow.
So he gave me 2 autographs for the price of 1. I only paid for 1. He's such a cool guy.
Dude, to this day, like you watch Ricky Steamboat versus Ric Flair at the Chi-Town Rumble, the Clash of the Champions, when he put in the double chicken wing. That's one of the best matches I've ever seen in my life.
My favorite person I ever met, of course, Zach and Kurt, but the best legend I ever met, best manager of all time, Bobby the Brain Heenan.
We loved him. Like,
Oh, Bobby, man. I met him at I think it was the same show I went with Geek. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, it was.
I have WrestleMania. I have a bunch of tapes in the Panther collection, as I call it. It was the tape when Andre faced Hogan at WrestleMania. I had my friend from college gave me the tapes. He didn't want them, so I just took them, and I didn't think I would ever do anything with them because they were tapes. So put the cover with me. Oh,
Right.
thank you, Thunder Feet. And I put the thing on the table, and he's talking to me, and I was like, "Oh, can you sign over?" He's like, I'm gonna sign over Hogan. I can't stand him. I'm not signing over my boy. I'm gonna sign by my boy. I miss Andre. So it's when he had cancer. So he was like, he still had his job, but his voice was like this when he talked to me. I have to find the picture. I'll send it to you later on Instagram. I was so nervous. I didn't give the money yet. You know, you have to give the money first, and then you take the picture. He's like, let me just take a picture with this guy. I'm like, what's your name? I'm like, I'm Joe. And he's like, well, what's your wrestling name? Because I always played the WWE games, and I always called myself Kid Crazy. And he's like, let me take a picture with my client, Kid Crazy. They're like this, like Randy Orton's like.
That's awesome.
Look, I think part of the reason that wrestling isn't as entertaining to me today is because the announcers are nowhere near as good.
No.
They don't put the guys over like the old guys. Bobby the Brain Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon were the greatest announced team, and Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler are close second. But as an old school guy, Bobby the Brain Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon. You ever want to learn how to do ring announcing? Watch the Royal Rumble when Flair won in '92. The reason why that was the best Rumble is because those announcers carried the entire thing.
And my favorite ring announcer of all time, Geek knows who it is.
Yeah, Howard Finkel.
I may have to stand up. I could do a spot on Howard Finkel. Want to hear? Now, introducing to the mic, he works for the Shark. Introduce Orlando.
It was good, man. I can go into wrestling stories pretty much all day, but going back to that question of who were the nicest guys that I met, there's a guy named Brian Barth. He's a promoter. Off the top of my head, I can't think of his federation. And Brian, if you're watching, I apologize for that. But he puts together these wrestling festivals, these autograph sessions, and he does the big event, it's called. And Brian is excellent at getting all this different talent. And with me and my buddy Johnny, we're doing security for Goldberg. Oh, wow. Goldberg was excellent with everybody, but there was a special needs kid that came in a wheelchair. Goldberg stopped the entire event, stood up, went over to the kid, told him he loved him, hugged him, sat with him for 15 minutes. The extra attention that Goldberg took just to make this kid's world, it was so inspiring. Couldn't have been a nicer guy. And then the line was out the door, and he looked at us and he goes, damn it, my Uber driver left. And he goes, how much more time do we have? And he was only supposed to be there for 3-4 hours. There was an extra maybe hour and a half worth of people online. And Goldberg says, all right, I'll figure it out. So I looked at him and I'm like, bro, we'll take you home. We work with Brian, if not thinking he would ever say yes. He goes, okay, that's cool. So he wraps up the autograph session. He goes, all right, guys, I just got to get out of here. So it's me and a bunch of my friends surrounding Goldberg like it's WCW 99. And he's walking away, the security guard. You can almost hear Goldberg. I'm like, this is the best thing ever. We get in the car, and he looks at me. And he goes, you mind stopping at Burger King? I'm like, no, sir, not at all. So we pull up to the line. The guy, this kid was having a horrible day. He's like, hi, can I take it? And he sees Goldberg, and his eyes just like go, like, runs out from behind the drive-in, out of the store, up to the car. He's like, I need to get a picture with you. I'm having the worst day. Goldberg got out of the car and took a picture with everyone.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
A nice guy, man.
That's awesome.
Top notch.
It's good to hear good stories about wrestlers. It really is.
I've been lucky. Every wrestler that I've ever worked with, whether it's an interview over the phone or like Nia Jax came into the studio once, and she could not have been a bigger sweetheart. Love her to death.
I heard some.
We met her. We met her in Phoenix. Me and my girlfriend. She looked at her nails. Her nails had the WWE logo on the nails. She was looking at them, and she's like, "I love your nails, cutie."
Yeah, she's just got the biggest heart, and it's real. Like when you talk to her, she's not Naya, she's Lena, and she says that too. She treated everybody. Took a picture with everyone. She was only supposed to come in, do the interview, and leave. And there's a lot of salespeople that are in the studio with us, and they're interested. They're wrestling fans. We walk out. There's a line. I'm like, great. Couldn't have cared less. Took a picture with everyone.
That's awesome.
That's good. When with certain wrestlers, like I remember going to the Garden one time with my friend I think it was with Craig that answered the question. We were waiting to get autographs. It's when Rico was still in the WWE.
Yeah.
We're waiting. I put my autograph. I get my hand shaking, and he signs my autograph. We look, and Randy Orton goes right around Rico, and he goes, and I'm like, to my buddy, there goes Randy Orton. We heard from across the street. He says, "Get the fuck off me!" He yells at some fan. I guess a fan grabbed him, and that's stuck in my head forever. Like,
I mean, it's hard. You don't know who these guys are. You don't know who's coming up to you. Like, I am not famous by any means, but there are times when people will come up to Rob or myself on the Shark. They mean well, but when you don't know somebody, like, just picture the perspective. Somebody comes up to you, like, with a finger, and it's like, hey, bro, if you're at a regular bar, you would think immediately that's a fight waiting to happen.
Yeah.
I just want to tell you that, they love the music you play or they heard something funny, but you don't know that. And if you're not careful, I don't blame Randy Orton for that.
Yeah. I kind of I think it's kind of like the fans kind of like messing up what they're doing now. Now they're not really now allowing, like, WWE is not allowed to do autograph signings, but I could see why. Have you seen the pictures that they're doing to the female wrestlers, putting their arms around like it's a prom picture? Have you seen those pictures?
No, but that sounds creepy.
Yeah, 100%.
What'd you guys think of the main event at WrestleMania, the first night with
The first night was awesome. I absolutely love the main event.
I liked the show. I did not like the main event. You know what it was to me? They made such a big deal about Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, and I wanted to see a regular wrestling match. I thought I was watching a bondage film with the amount of times they tied her up with the ponytail, and the ponytail was like such a big deal in the match. It made it seem like a gimmick match.
Yeah.
I mean, they were trying to tell a story, though.
I get the story they were trying to tell, but tell me that story with their ability. To me, the ponytail almost made it seem like it cheapened it, like it was a novelty match.
Mm-hmm.
The next night, the female tag team match, that was one of the best matches, I think, of WrestleMania history.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were going to give them the belts, I really, really, really thought they were going to give the challengers the titles.
I think maybe they should have, but it didn't take away the quality of that match. When Shayna Baszler locked in the submission, I mean, she looked like she was going to rip that girl's head off. Like, it was believable.
Yeah.
I feel like Shayna should be a singles wrestler, in my opinion, though. She's that
Probably.
good. Yeah.
You know what, though? You know that she's a UFC fighter. You know that she's dangerous. It's almost a bit of camouflage that she's in a tag team because it doesn't stand out as much that in the back of your mind she can kill the girl across the ring.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what I'm saying,
Like WrestleMania with Becky and Ronda, I don't like triple threat matches as title matches, but I understood why they did it with that one because in the back of your mind, Ronda would kill Becky Lynch.
Uh-huh.
Oh, she would have ripped her arms off. That was the Mania that I was so disappointed with the ending. And then I was like, I kept saying I was watching pictures afterwards. I'm like, Ronda's arms weren't on the mat. Come on, man. You didn't see the picture? Your leg hurt. I was just like, what?
Your thoughts on Bad Bunny and yes, Shayna Baszler is my number one wrestler. Yo, that Bad Bunny thing, what can you can't say anything wrong. He proved every single detractor, every critic wrong. That dude put on a great match.
He did. He even put on Destroyer.
Yeah,
Who would ever thought he would do that? You know,
it wasn't even just the offensive moves. He studied how to be a wrestler. He sold.
Yeah,
it was believable when he was hurt. Everything that he did was anything that you would believe a wrestler to do. I thought that guy was great.
Yeah, I would even say, like, maybe in the future, if he would come back, give him a cruiserweight title match.
I mean, I'm sure that guy makes plenty of money doing what he's doing.
Yeah, definitely.
You hear about his concert, Orlando? No. Completely sold out. Wasn't that geek that we were talking about?
That and the tickets are like ridiculous by now. They're like $2,000 or $3,000 for the cheapest ticket. Like
I'm mad at the loop with pop music. Like, I didn't know who that guy was.
I had no idea either. And I looked up on StubHub and I'm like, really? For this guy?
That's what was crazy about that match, though, is because you didn't know who he was, and you just would have thought that he was another amazing wrestler. Like, that's how good he was that night.
Thanks, Tony, by the way.
Hey, Tony. He was one of our last guests we had. He was a heel on the show.
Tantalizing Tony?
Yeah. Oh, he's funny as hell.
Yeah. Looks like somebody I would have a drink with. So
he's a cool guy. Yeah.
He's a good dude. He's funny.
Well, cool. I mean, look, I have, NBC Peacock because I want a WrestleMania. I haven't gone back. I haven't looked at, what they scrubbed and like what's not there anymore. But thank God I still have these old DVDs because there's a lot of stuff that they're never going to show again. That I'm thankful that we're all from a generation where we got to see this stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
They took a lot of takeovers off.
Did they?
They took a lot of the takeovers off Peacock and on there, and I was like,
and I knew they're getting rid of a lot of the Nation of Domination stuff and DX. Yeah. Like some of that stuff was the best wrestling ever.
That was like the best gimmick. That was the best rivalry right there on Raw. The Nation versus Degeneration X. Oh my gosh.
And the thing is, if the guys doing it didn't have a problem with it, why should anybody else?
Yeah. Like,
I mean, those wrestlers, to me, were the most five-tool. Billy Gunn, he could wrestle, he could shoot, he could talk on the mic. Shawn Michaels, to me, is probably like the greatest wrestler of all time.
He's the man. Shawn, oh gosh.
He's never had a bad match. Every single person he's wrestled looked like they were a 5-star wrestler. He was amazing on the microphone. I mean, I wouldn't call him one of my favorites, but I think he's like the best as far as getting a match out of anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He could put anybody over. Shawn Michaels, he could put anybody over.
And like he lost so many times at WrestleMania, and it never once dulled his star because you knew that he was the better wrestler.
No, yeah, 100%.
Also, are you? What kind of music you into? Like bands? I mean.
Oh, I mean, I listen to like 90% of what we play on the Shark. I'm a '90s kid, so like my favorite bands are Mother Love Bone and Candlebox, but I'm also like a big Bruce Springsteen fan, Leonard Skinner. Mm-hmm. I grew up on classic rock. The Beach Boys was my first favorite band. And then I think I was like 5 years old. My stepmother put on Black Sabbath's Paranoid album. Uh-huh. I heard Iron Man for the first time. And as a 5-year-old that's only heard the Beatles and the Beach Boys, I'm like, what the fuck is this? Scaring the shit out of me. And I was hooked. Ozzy, I don't know if you could see it, but Ozzy is like one of my all-time.
Tanzline, Tony, and Orlando are in the area thread. Outstanding.
Paul Aria, what's up, Paul? Paul is a great dude. Yo, you should have Paul call in, man. He's got some amazing stories.
Well, if he wants to come on the show, we can just send him the link. If he wants to come on the show, we could just drop him the link that we gave you. He can come on the show.
Send it to me again.
Lance, send him the link again.
All right, send the link
again.
You
can come on the show. It's cool. Yeah, like my very first WWF show when I was a little boy. Here we go. The show was it's on the network. I don't know if they have it on the Peacock. It was a WWF house show. I think it was like 1991. The opening contest was WWF show. The Dragon Steamboat versus Haku. It's on the network.
Okay, hang on, fellas. I apologize. I don't want to get the
That feedback, right?
Feedback. I'm sending Paul a link right now.
I sent it to you, so do Instagram.
Yeah, so the first match was Ricky Steamboat versus Haku, and the main event was leading up to WrestleMania when Slaughter faced Hogan.
WrestleMania 7.
Yep, it was the lead up. It was the lead up to that match, and the match was a boot camp match, and you know that fear of Hogan, so I was kind of like a big Hogan fan, even though my dad was like, you know, your grandfather was a heel. You're cheering for the wrong guy, son. And I was like, but it was Hogan. There was the Hogan era, you know, little kids love Hogan. I'm like, if my grandfather passed away before I was born, so I ever got a chance to live in that shine of, wow, I knew because my dad told me the picture and told me about him and told me he was a wrestler. That was my whole story now, like with everything I did. Like Geek can tell you, all I would talk about was my grandfather in college. I was like, yeah, my grandfather. Like, as I jokingly say, my friends would tell you, my wrestling mic drop is your grandfather a wrestler? I guess not. And then I walk away.
And
you don't have any footage of your grandfather?
No.
There's got to be something out there, man.
Yeah, I know it's something. There's a video that I don't know if you've ever seen it. It was Behind the Mat.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a footage in there that my dad swears. He swears it's my grandfather in a match. Because it's a black and white picture of a guy in a mask with a tank top like the picture. Like this. He's wearing this outfit in the picture. And he's scrapping around with the guy in the ring. And he says that is the guy. That has to be him. And I'm like, I don't know.
I still have Beyond the Mat on VHS, man. I'm gonna go sometime this weekend, man. I'm gonna study it.
Yeah, it's a guy with a mask on, scrapping around in a guy in a ring. My grandfather was a grappler, so his finishing move was a sleeper hold. So if you still play do you ever play any of the WWE games?
No.
Okay, I was about to say, if you had 2K19, look up this name right here. You'll be able to find my grandfather on there. He's on there. I created him, and I created him to the heel. Made him a heel. They put the hashtags, but that's what, like 2019, they started doing the fun hashtags. So he's like hashtag heel, hashtag old school, hashtag WWWF.
There's a couple of guys that I know, like wrestling historians, that might be able to help, man. I would love to get you some footage of your grandfather. There's got to be something out there, bro. There's wrestling tapes from the 40s. There's like stuff with Carl Gotch. There's got to be something with your grandfather somewhere.
It makes me sad because the only thing I have in my grandfather is this that my mom made a bunch of us.
Sure.
And the plaque that you saw that my dad showed. And it's like,
what territory was he in? He was in the WWF?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you got to like talk to guys like the WWF guys, like they would bounce from territories too, like after they would finish there. So I wonder if he went down to like Tennessee or Georgia or maybe he went up north to Stampede in Canada. Who knows?
Yeah.
There's got to be a way to track him.
And like my uncle, I only have stories of people that told me, people have Thunderfeet, like I went on YouTube and I even looked his name up, and my dad's like, we're gonna find something. And you know when you're on your phone and you keep saying a certain thing, and then eventually a few days later you look it up on Instagram and it comes up on you. You should check it out. I grabbed my dad's iPad and I was like, Joe Quinones, just to get nothing. But it made it. And my dad's like, you're gonna get yourself sick. Putting your face that close to an iPad.
I don't think it's anything you'll find on the internet. I think it's gonna be, well, you know where you might find it. Those old those wrestling video vendors. Like they might have old matches. You know, everything's compartmentalized. So look for 1950s wrestling matches. He might appear. Yeah. Did he ever wrestle under another name?
No, he just used that name and he wore the mask his whole career. So,
what was his wrestling name with the mask?
Jose Quinones.
Okay.
The Panther.
With the mask.
Yeah, he never wrestled without a mask. He was just a masked wrestler.
Share the story of you saving Dreamer. It didn't exactly happen that way, Paul. Paul, forget about going to dinner. Dinner, go home, and come jump on this thing with me.
Oh yeah.
He just texted me. He said he's waiting for a table at this place in Holbrook.
Is that his family in the picture? Is that like a
Might be. He said Tantalizing Tony is one of his oldest friends, and he met him at the very first Monday Night Raw.
He was on our show, Tantalizing Tony.
Tantalizing Tony is a great guy. He's so funny, man.
Yeah.
You have to, if when the shows come back, I'll tell Tony to come to a show. We have to all hang out. You can.
We got to go to the NYWC arena, man.
Definitely.
Auditorium would be a lot of fun.
I'll be wearing my. These are my state. I have real glasses. Right here.
Okay.
These are glasses, and these are my stage glasses. And I told Lance, Geek, when we go to wrestling shows, I'm gonna have my real ones on the shirt, and I'm gonna put these on to watch the show.
I'm just waiting for tickets to go on sale for Wrestle Dynasty at the Garden.
Look, everything that I'm reading about, like we just started getting concert offers to give away tickets. There's some Jones Beach shows opening up. I know Dave Matthews is playing up at Saratoga. Things are happening. I don't know how quickly, but I know that the shows that we're getting tickets to give away for are like end of July, early August. So, I mean, we're in May already. Things might be happening sooner rather than later.
That's awesome.
I mean, they had fans at Raymond James Stadium for WrestleMania. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it'll be full capacity for the summer, or
didn't they just have full capacity for a UFC show down there?
Yeah,
the last UFC was full capacity, right?
15,000.
Yeah,
more. Right. They did, but I think they were finding fighters that had COVID after the fact. I think they said that.
Well, at the Super Bowl, there was 25,000 people spread out somewhat, but 25,000 people.
Were they really?
And they said it was going to be a super spreader event. And there were only 56 cases. NYWC. Paul, do you know when? Because I'd love to help with that.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely.
Geek and I have said if we could get back to a show, I'll tell Geek to bring his laptop. We will do a show outside in the parking lot, a pre-show. We will do it.
I've done some guest ring announcing for those guys at NYWC. They're very. I got 2 bad hips. I'm 43 going on 80, and they're very nice. Where they let me walk up to the ropes, and after watching me pathetically try to get into the ring a couple of times, now they just let me stand up on the ramp and announce the matches.
My friends did that stuff. They did the backyard wrestling, and I used my wrestling name, Kid Crazy. I just wanted to see how it felt to be in the ring because of my grandfather. So that day I went with my friend. My friends were doing the wrestling. They didn't do the crazy stuff with like the blood, like the hitting. They did all their stuff staged.
Okay.
So I was wearing my CI varsity jacket. I had my Puerto Rico tank top on, and they even gave me a theme. They even made me a theme because I wasn't on the card, so they just made me a theme. Had like the what's his name? Oh my God, Fat Joe, the Puerto Rico song, and they merged they used the gunshots from the Nas song, and they used the Puerto Rico. So I came in the ring, and I did this whole. I'm little, so I like went to the rope. And I ran from rope to rope to rope to rope to rope. And when I got in the car, I had this burn from under my armpit right here that felt like someone left me out in the sun too long. It hurt so bad.
Now I have the AEW roster. Yeah, Paul, I could attest to everything Paul said. I mean, I've watched so many of the AEW guys backstage at NYWC shows years ago. Even Mike Magnum, who's doing stuff for AEW Dark, starving artist Mike Magnum. I have a picture with him 7 years ago. I didn't know who he was at the time. It was him. It was the tag team belts. It was him and someone else. There's a lot of talent that came through NYWC.
Definitely. And a lot of them are going to AEW now.
Yeah.
Right?
A lot of them are in AEW. Some are in WWE. But, these guys are big names. And it's cool to go to an independent show, especially NYWC, where, all right, maybe you're not seeing a big name right now, but wait a year and you're going to be able to say, I saw that guy at a tiny arena in Deer Park.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just sorry, but one of my, the guy, Thunderfeet, texted me, asked me how I spelled my grandfather's name. And then also I go to my email and I've been, I try to get wrestlers to come on the show, I emailed Candice Michelle, and I think she said she's not taking any.
Tony, that's right.
It stinks. I really want to get like wrestlers to come on the show, but you know, as I say, the independent wrestlers, they feed on this stuff. They come on the show like this, you know, they get their name out there.
Listen, fellas, you guys do a good job. There's no reason why you couldn't get the attention of someone. Just keep emailing people. Bro, I was on a tiny little AM radio station. WN, Jesus Christ, I'm mixing up my radio stations because I bounced around. 1230 WFAS. It was there for 80-something years. And when I got the job, it was a...
Oh, that's awesome. I would love to.
It was a tiny little AM station. I emailed Superstar Billy Graham. And my first ever interview on this tiny little AM radio station was Superstar Billy Graham.
Joe?
Oh, wow. Billy Graham.
Guys, see what Paul said?
I saw. I would love it, though. I would love that. The SATs are freaking awesome.
SATs. Sure thing.
Second guy I ever interviewed on that station was Jake the Snake Roberts. Just keep emailing people, and they'll come on.
Yeah. The ones that we had, who was it that I emailed? Oh, and Geek got so mad at me. What's his name? That had the problem with the oh my god. He was having the trouble with the what was the guy who got mad at me because I emailed him.
It was a speaking out thing. It was a speaking out. I'm like, dude, don't even bother, you know? So one of those guys,
he was bad. I can't remember his name, but he was bad. I'm not gonna say the name. I'm not gonna drop the name. I don't want to get myself in trouble. I'm gonna say I don't care. It's Ellsworth.
Well, let's put it this way. Who do you guys want to interview? Like, what would be your dream list?
Tommy Dreamer, of course, because he's hardcore and he's the man. He's a legend. And I fanboyed out when his music came on and nobody knew who he was. Here we go. Joe story time. We're at the NYWC arena. I forgot. I think whoever was in the ring, he's challenging somebody from the back, and I'm sitting in the back row, and all of a sudden, Man in a Box come on, and everybody was like, these kids are looking around, and I just fanboy, and I jumped up. Oh my God, it's Tommy Dreamer! And then everybody.
You wrestled Matt Stryker that night.
I was there.
We were there at that show.
Remember a guy yelling, "Oh my God, it's Tommy Dreamer"? Because that was me.
No, because I was probably yelling louder. My buddy Chris Cope was with me, who used to fight in the UFC, and it was, he did wrestle Stryker that night.
I think that was Psycho Circus. I believe.
Yeah.
That was right?
That was a good show. Oh my! The Psycho Circus is always so exciting. Like this for us indie fans on Long Island. If you're watching us and you're not from Long Island, you got to come to Long Island. If you have a cousin that lives on Long Island and they're doing Psycho Circus, go to it. It's like going to an ECW show. That show, because the main event is so freaking awesome.
If Tommy ever does shows again, I mean, it's not ECW, but it's a nostalgic feel to it. It really is. Like there are moments at House of Hardcore shows that feel like ECW. I mean, I got to meet Terry Funk at an ECW show, at a House of Hardcore show. I got to meet the Great Muta at a House of Hardcore show.
Awesome. Yeah.
I've always wanted. He's one of the. There's so many people that are on like Dreamer's my number one interview. Number two will be Rey Mysterio because. Right.
As much as I said before on the show, I said Triple H would probably be number one, but Kenny Omega would be cool too.
Kenny Omega. I mean, I can't see him being out of the realm of possibilities. Guys, keep emailing away.
I did. I emailed him, and I'm like,
yeah,
nah. But I'm like Dreamer, Rey Mysterio, Jake the Snake Roberts, Ted DiBiase, and Hulk Hogan. That's my top three.
The way it's difficult now because there's not a lot going on, but the way to do things, especially since you guys have a podcast where you're not strapped down to a market like I am. Like I'm on terrestrial radio.
Mhm.
So whenever anybody comes to Long Island, it's easy to look up these events and then reach out. There are no events right now. You guys are pretty much anywhere you want to be, being a podcast. So look to see where guys are doing stuff, even if it's not a wrestling show, if it's a personal appearance, even if somebody's doing a live Zoom, they still need as much exposure and recognition as possible. So Google who's doing these virtual signings and reach out to them. They'll take a lot of these wrestlers will take any sort of promotion and be grateful for it possible. Reach out to some of these promoters that do the big conventions, the autograph signing conventions. They'll set you up with different wrestlers as long as you talk about their show. That's a great way to reach out and get some big names.
Yeah. Like I even called. It's kind of funny. I did this to myself. I feel is Geek called me. I'm the chief of marketing of Dudes at Ringside Podcast.
He talks to everybody.
I called literally. There's on their Instagram. It says connection. So I called the NYWC number and I told them who I am and I told them what I do and I'm on the show and then I called WXW.
Okay.
That's the Wild Samoans Federation. So like I even said, whoever is the big wig here that promotes the show, like the commissioner or the GM, and if you can't, can you even try to get the Wild Samoans to come on our show? My name is Joe Ortiguez. By the way, my grandfather wrestled with the Wild. Like I kind of like did that. I said, by the way, my grandfather wrestled with the Wild Samoans. His name was Jose Quinones the Panther. That helped.
I mean, that's another thing too. Like the Wild Samoans have to have some archive matches somewhere. Maybe just find some of those matches. Maybe your grandfather made a run in or something like that. There's got to be something out there.
Yeah, it has to be something. Something.
There you go, fellas.
Yeah, there you go.
I emailed Kelly. She's on her honeymoon right now because she was all over her Instagram.
But when they're doing these virtual signings, you want to email the promoters. You want to find out who's promoting these things. Maybe like if somebody's doing a signing at a store, maybe you reach out to the store and say, hey, I run this wrestling podcast. We got a fun show and we have a pretty hardcore following. They'll get in contact with the wrestlers. It's better to go through the promoters sometimes and it's easier.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I've done it. And that's how I've gotten, multiple guests throughout the years, especially with these big conventions. Like that's how I became friends with guys like Brian Barth, who's an amazing promoter and puts on some of the best wrestling conventions ever. These guys might be like, all right, well, listen, let's work together. I'm not saying Brian, I don't know. The more promoters you reach out to and say, hey, I'd like to help promote your show. Can you hook me up with a contact to this wrestler or that wrestler? And we'll promote your show. Be surprised. A lot of these guys will say yes.
That's interesting. I never thought about it that way though.
Yeah. Like with me, like going to like shows like Geek totally got me like hooked into like Ring of Honor.
Mm-hmm.
And like I didn't think I was gonna like it. And he had the cassette tapes in the college, like our college, they were like,
they were on the VHS back then. There was no DVDs back then.
Yeah, he would say the residents would say, Joe, you like this guy? He likes wrestling. I'm like, hey, I'm an old school person. I'm like, you should watch his tapes. There's some wrestling. I'm like, all right. So I started watching, and the tapes they had so many good matches. Like, CM Punk was on these things.
AJ Styles too, right?
AJ Styles, Samoa Joe.
Oh my gosh, the names go on and on and on and on and on. And then I guess I learned about NYWC through Craig. That's in the comments, Craig Ligorski. Like, and then I was like, wait, Mikey Whipwreck owns that place? And then I met I call them my wrestling besties, Damian Dragon and Foxy. They're good people. I'll have to drop you their Instagrams. And you could probably they're good interviews. Damian Dragon, the husband, he has so many wrestling stories, Orlando, like about Psycho Circus from NYWC, stories about Mikey Whipwreck during the shows. Like his his stories about how he likes Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Like, oh, and he's gonna come back again on another episode.
You have to watch our past episodes. It's on the archives. So
you guys gotta reach out to Paul, who's been chiming in. Paul could tell you a ton of stories about all these guys.
Do you remember Paul? Do you remember Damien and Foxy? Damien
Stop saying that, damn it! No, I don't.
You guys hear the impression that Damien Dragon does of Mikey Whipwreck? It was so funny. He's like, you guys. My story with Mikey Whipwreck was hilarious. You know, he likes dragons. Mikey Whipwreck, the dragon stuff. I had back in the 2000s. I had this Janko Lance McGeek. Remember this? I had this blue long sleeve Janko shirt with a dragon from the front to the back, and I wore it. I knew Mikey loves dragons, so I was like, he was walking in, and he's like, hey guys. He looked at my shirt, and he's like, hey, what's going on? I had my head. I was like, I was like, I'll trade you a shirt. I'll give you my shirt here. And he's like, I can't. I'm like, why? He's like, you won't have a shirt on. I was like, you could give me a shirt. He goes, no, I can't. You can't leave Marina without a shirt on. But so you can give me a shirt. And then he's like, I gotta go. So, sorry. And I'm just like,
my funniest Mikey Whipwreck story has nothing to do with Mikey. Paul's still watching. I won't say who the wrestler is, but when we used to broadcast live from Tommy Dreamer's House of Hardcore shows, you know, Rob and I or just me would be sitting there at a table before the shows start. So we're nobody, but if the wrestlers are walking back there, it looks like we belong there. So, like, you know, they know that we're not just fans hanging out. This wrestler was convinced that I was Mikey Whipwreck, talked to me as if we wrestled, and he's going on, but bro, we got to have one more match. Come on, man, one more match. I'm like, who is this guy? Tommy's what? Go ahead, Paul. I just saw his comments. And Paul probably could. Mm-hmm. If the fact that he's even offering is a big deal. But and maybe for 3 or 4 shows after that, this wrestler would come up to me, hug me, ask me when I'm getting back in the ring, and I never had the heart to tell him that I'm not Mikey. I never met Mikey. I'm afraid to at this point.
That was hilarious. That like I almost got a NYWC shirt from Mikey Whipwreck, but he's like, no, I can't let you wear that shirt on. No, again, so we'll get in trouble. You know, no shirts. And I'm like, this is a YMCA. I think they have kids play basketball without shirts here and here all the time. No, it's not. It's a wrestling event. Sorry. And I was like,
he's a Long Island kid, isn't he from Salem?
I think so.
Craig, I also introduced you to Ring of Honor too. Don't forget.
I'm the one that introduced you to. I thought you introduced me to NYWC. Yeah, and it's funny. My mom, when we were talking about like the past with us with NYWC, my mom's like, I remember you, Lance. Oh, we call him Thunderfeet, the one that's in the comments. Oh, okay. Pack up Lance's car and I'll go to Deer Park and go to those wrestling shows all together, all in Lance's car. I'll pack in there and go together. And I'm like, I told Thunderfeet and I've told my other friend Max, I said, when we get a chance to go back to shows, I'm coming back to Long Island and we are going to an NYWC show.
How far are you from the island now?
I live in Milford, Pennsylvania. That's right over the river.
Yeah, I know where it is.
Yeah, I live like where Port Jervis, New York is.
Mm-hmm.
I think
I'm not far from Deer Park at all. So
you're around the corner.
I'm right around the corner.
Yep.
So
now listen, I mean the fact that Paul said that there's a show in, I think he said July or August. Like I said, Paul, if you're watching, have Shane get in contact with me. I'd love to help. That's a big deal, just having wrestling back on Long Island, any wrestling.
Mm-hmm. And if you guys need help, here we go. This is stretching it a little far. And I know we're still a small podcast, but if you need someone to help promote an NYWC show like that and get the word out about NYWC's first summer show, we will promote that show like it is the prom in the 90s. We will make it. If you could even give us like a hat or like a thing to go across the bottom. Tickets on sale at blah, blah, blah. Go to Joey's Pizza on 5th Street. We will promote the fuck out of it. Like, if you even name drop us during the show, like
Paul just said, let's hook these guys up and bring them to the next NYWC show. And he wants my buddy Johnny to come. My buddy Johnny gets confused with Taz all the time. Like, people will walk up to, he looks so much like him. People go up to Johnny all the time with a Sharpie and say, please sign my whatever. This show needs Tantalizing Tony. Tantalizing Tony, jump on. Come on, bro.
Oh, gee, we need Tony.
Tony, yes.
Bring him on right now. I'm down.
Come on, Tony. Come on. Or,
send Tony the link. Are you set up, Tony? Oh, God. We're going to Tony's return.
Tony's going to come on
Paul
now.
says that he's like one of his best friends. So I'd love to talk. Anybody that's friends with Paul, I'm down with.
We just had Tony on the show. He's coming back.
We were going heel face on each other the last time.
He's going to turn heel on somebody today.
So, yeah.
He said, sure.
And by the way, as I always say, this show is sponsored by Key Food in Milford. Come to Key Food in Milford and get your delicious sandwiches at the deli and get your delicious tacos on Tuesday. That's my boss. I said, can you promote the show? And he looked at me in the face, the widest eyes possible with his mask on, and says, how much do I owe you? And I said, Junior, nothing. And I said, he's like, are you sure? And I said, nothing. Oh, Tony wants a link.
I'm helping him out. Hold on.
Tony, he's the heel on the show. He's abadabbing. And I said, how much do you? I said, nothing. He's like, what do you? All I'm gonna do is just say your thing. He said, what are you gonna say? And I just said what I said. He was like, okay.
I want to hear the story about how we met Paul. He said he met him at the very first Monday Night Raw.
Wow, the very first Raw. Huh.
I want to hear the story. Oh God.
Well, my other memory of when as a little boy going to the Garden, I was at the show. They announced Andre the Giant died
In 93?
Yeah, I was there. I still hear the Howard Finkel going, we have good news and some bad news. The good news is
it's cool with you though. It's cool with you that it comes on, right? Orlando? Yeah.
Doesn't matter to me, bro. Bring him on.
You want to say hi. And then the bad news, and then I swear there's times in the Garden where you could hear the crowd really good, and then there's time they're really quiet because they didn't like a match.
Yeah.
I could at 37, 30, 38, I can still have memories of that the crowd was so, when Howard said that Andre the Giant has passed away, the crowd got so quiet you would have thought the arena was empty. I did this.
There's a legend.
Yeah, it was so weird. And they would think but there was no social media then.
I gave him the link, so I'm just waiting for him to
come on. There was no Instagram. There was no Facebook. There was
Nobody captured a crowd's imagination like Andre the Giant.
Yeah. Here's a funny random question. Have you watched Young Rock yet?
Girlfriend and I saw the first episode. I really liked it. I just didn't have time to watch the rest.
My dad
that plays Andre is phenomenal.
My dad watched the first episode because, my grandfather, his dad, he cried the entire first episode. The connection with the wrestlers hanging out, that got my dad like tears. He was watching he thought my dad was cutting onions to make rice and beans. He was like crying.
Went to the show where Andre walked to the ring. Someone threw a beer bottle. Yeah, I wouldn't mess with Andre the Giant, that's for sure. Actually, fellas, I can hang out for like another 5 minutes. I got to go let my friend's dogs out. I'm a dog. Dude, I'm not sure how long this lasted today, but I apologize.
What's up? Here's Tony.
What's up, Tony?
Everybody's here to see me, so everybody be quiet right now, okay? I'm here for one reason alone. I was checking out the comments, and there's a guy by the name of Paul Laurier. They used to call him the Ultimate Laurier. He's an ultimate idiot, if you ask me. Let me tell you something else about this guy. His feet are so big, he's got feet like a hobbit. I call him Frodo. Frodo Baggins is his name, okay? Good evening, gentlemen. It's your pleasure. I'm the tantalizing one. What are we talking about?
Tony, Paul's got some stories about you. He met you at the very first Monday Night Raw.
He did meet the He had the pleasure, along with the rest of those HWA bums, of meeting me at Monday Night Raw back in 1993. Yeah.
That was what, the Mid-Hudson Civic Center?
That is incorrect. That's the Manhattan Center. Get it right, bro.
I'm not a wrestling historian like you, my man.
Listen, bro, I got shoes older than you. Let me do the talking here. Listen, Gloria, if you're watching, and I know you are, okay? This ain't 93, bro. It's 2021. Okay? It's all about the tantalizing show. This is why these guys had me on. See how they didn't invite you on, they invited me on. What's your next question? I got time for this.
I think they did invite him on. He just couldn't come.
Yeah.
I gave Orlando the link.
And there you go. And there's his loyalty. And that shows you what kind of wrestling fan it really is. He doesn't come onto the podcast. Huh? The dudes at ringside who are trying to do great things here. He doesn't have the time. He doesn't have 5 minutes at his busy schedule of grilling vegetables to come on. Excuse me, Loria.
Tony's right, Paul. You could have just stepped outside for a minute.
How long does it take? How long does it take to come on, grab your phone, grab your device? Hey, let me check my buddies out. He wants to tell stories from afar because he wants anybody looking to those big little eyes of his. That's the problem. I come on camera. I am the man of the people. I come on when it's time. I come over. I tantalize everyone. That's why they call me Tantalizing Tony.
Yeah.
Listen, fellas, I actually have to run. I want to say thank you for having. I had a lot of fun with this, man. If you guys ever want to talk again, I'd be down.
Oh, yeah.
You are awesome, by the way. Before you leave, you are awesome. You made this show great today. You're a great guest. They should have you on every week.
I will.
All I can say is this, too. Before you go, keep coming on. Keep giving us good content. You're doing your thing, bro.
Tony, I appreciate that. Are you on Long Island, too?
Bro, I'm in Delaware, but anytime you want me to make a trip, I'll jump on 95, take it straight down north, take a right at, the Tantalizing Hotel, and I'll check you guys in.
Oh, yeah.
I'm serious. When the NYWC does that show in July, all of us are going. Paul, I'd love for everybody to go.
Oh, hell yeah.
I will be there. I will be there as long as you put Loria on the other side of the ring away from me.
Guys, thank you so much, man.
Thank you so much, Orlando. Thanks so much for coming on, dude.
Thanks, Orlando.
Take care, fellas.
Take care.
Stay solid.
Take care.
Dudes at the Ringside Podcast, I didn't mean to crash your party. I apologize if Orlando left too soon. It was my fault. Well, he realized he couldn't compete with me either, nor can anybody. I just came and popped my head in to prove who I am. So everybody watches today, I'm going to give a cheap plug. Hey, if you have Facebook, tune into my show with my co-host, JB, Jared Boyd, Over the Top Rope. It's going to be on right after SmackDown, 10 o'clock. I'm pretty sure these guys know the link, and they'll send it to you. You guys got any questions for the Tantalized one? Because I got to go.
Anybody got any questions? Aw.
All right. What date?
Okay. So, yeah, that was awesome having Orlando on. Too bad he couldn't stay on longer. But
dude, Orlando is a freaking cool guest, by the way.
Was the best. He didn't even give us a promo, but a bunch of tape. So, thank you. So, what do you want? You want to talk about anything else tonight?
Yeah, I got a whole rundown actually.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I ran out of Joe Panther's special liquid, but I got Ecto. Where's Marauder?
Marauder wasn't here, right?
I told him. Yeah. So this was the email from Candice Michelle, geek.
Yeah. Don't.
Oh.
Private, dude. You might not want to show that.
No, I didn't say anything bad.
I know, but you might not want to show that stuff.
Yeah, I get it.
On the air. All right. But anyway, here's other news. We get El Fantasma is going to be in Impact.
That should be a good. He should bring a good card.
And you got the main event for Under Siege is set. You got Good Brothers and Kenny Omega versus Finn Juice and Eddie Edwards. And you have 6-way match featuring the winner faces Kenny Omega. So for Under Siege. That's next Impact pay-per-view.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is this? Thunderfeet, thank you for the link. I have seen I've seen that before, but I've never seen more of that. Maybe there's more that I have not seen.
I wonder how those guys, Paul and Tony, know each other. You know?
Well, I guess we're gonna have to stay tuned, fans, because we may be at an NYWC show this summer. So, Geek, make sure you pack the computer, and I'll pack the banner.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'll be able to. Gonna have to somehow I'm gonna be going through the freaking turnstiles like this. Don't get panic, police. This is nothing bad. What is that? Dude's at ringside.
But anyway, I think so we start. Have you seen NXT recently this past week or
Yeah, I've been watching NXT. I really like the stuff that's going on. It's pretty
I think Zoe Stark, by the way, she's going to be a huge star.
That's the one that's obsessed with
she's the MMA like the former MMA fighter or mixed martial arts fighter.
MMA wrestlers coming in WWE lately. It's like,
yeah, but she's going to be a big star though.
You notice that, Geek? They
Yeah.
almost have that same look.
Yeah.
I
hope. Gonna be, what's up?
I really hope that Orlando enjoyed our show tonight. I hope he had fun with us.
Yeah.
I know he did. Paul, if you're still there, dude, like really tell your friends about us. We love this as much as anybody. We love professional wrestling. I have family in professional wrestling. If it wasn't for my grandfather, I think I'd be just watching Yankees baseball. And if it wasn't for Geek, this guy over here, wrong way. This guy, dang it. This guy over here, I would have never seen Ring of Honor, and I would have never learned about NYWC. Like,
one question for you, Joe. Also, what do you think of Santos Escobar becoming a face and then going back to being a heel again?
I think it's weird that wrestlers do that. Like, is it because they're trying to get heat? Or they're trying to get like a promotion? Are they trying to?
I mean, you had his son come out, right?
Yeah.
On a takeover, him with the belt, winning the belt and stuff like that, retaining the belt, and all of a sudden now he's heel again.
Brian?
It does what?
Oh, nothing. Something with Balor Club guy posted on. Yeah, so I don't know. I just think that WWE now does not. They don't know, like. They want the wrestlers want to make them heel, and then I guess WWE doesn't like the way that they make flip flop.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, it just had him as a face like maybe a couple of weeks ago. It's kind of weird to have him as a heel again.
Yeah, like I guess Vince McMahon doesn't like too many faces in the Federation.
Uh-huh. But
yeah, Thunder Feet, no bots tonight. I guess now that we're only on we're not just on Twitch anymore. We're on Facebook
and YouTube.
And YouTube, there's no bots, so we don't get them anymore. I'm kind of glad the Vinny thing is over because Vinny is over. R.I.P. Vinny. It's just that like I think, as I said, and back what I said, I think WWE just does not like too many faces.
Mm-hmm. That and what's another thing? Yeah, like we talked a little bit about the MLW thing. That's crazy. Can you imagine a Jacob Fatu versus Roman Reigns match? That's like a WrestleMania match right there.
Welcome to the Ringside Crew. Who wrote that? You did?
Yeah, that's me.
Oh.
Yeah. I think somebody just followed us. No, somebody followed us just now.
Just now?
Yeah. I don't know. That's a follow right there. Thanks for following, though. Welcome to the Ringside Crew, by the way.
So now we're up to
135.
Yeah. If you want to donate, it's not saying you have to, but it'd be nice if you can donate. Drop the link, Geeky.
Streamlabs.com/dudes@ringside.
You don't have to, but like, you know how you always see those guys playing guitar on the side of the road? I thought that when they're walking on the sidewalk and when you leave Yankee Stadium and the guy's playing his instrument and just playing, and you could drop a dollar in there, a quarter. Thank you, Thunder.
Thanks for being the Vinny tonight.
Yep. I guess
All right.
Marauder couldn't make it because
it's all right though, you know. But yeah, like I was saying, I think, and we got. I think the long run here is for Loomis to take the belt off Gargano. My other thoughts.
I am feeling. I think I like Loomis. I like Loomis. I'm feeling Loomis or maybe they may not give it to Loomis because think about it. Isn't that girl trying to hook up with Loomis now?
Oh, Indy Hartwell, right?
Yeah, she may distract him and then mess up the match, so they can't.
Yeah.
So he loses.
I think that's where they're going with the whole thing, though. I think they're going. I think it's Loomis and Gargano, probably at the next takeover. Yeah.
Do you think it's just a setup? Do you think she's just doing it for that?
Yeah. But I mean, and another thing is, I was watching. I think the Bucks I have written down. I mean, I think Everrise is kind of like a Bucks ripoff. If you notice that. Notice that or no?
Yeah, it could be. I don't know. I can't read the room, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of
Everrise.
Yeah, as I keep telling you, there's too many cooks in the kitchen. NYDC and ROH right now. I mean, NY like AEW has too many stables.
No, we're talking about NXT right now.
Oh, okay. I thought you were the way the name sounded like they sound like AEW.
We got NXT, which is you got Bucks. No, you got the Everrise, which is supposed to be like a Young Bucks ripoff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see that thing that Seth Rollins said about the leather jackets that they had on?
I think I saw something like that. Yeah, it's like you guys stole my jacket or something like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, remember what Orlando said about Seth Rollins?
It's annoying, right?
Another one. We had another person hating on another person. But, first Stevie Ray with Stone Cold.
It's like WWE. They tried to get the Bucks years ago, and now you're just bitter.
Yeah, it's like that girl that her female friend said, "Oh, I like this guy," and she's like, "Okay." And then 2 years later, the girl's walking by her holding, "Oh, hey, Rebecca, bitch." She takes the guy that she liked. You know what I mean? Yeah. She goes off and finds the guy she likes, and the girl that liked him never picked him up. That's what it's like. Dead air, Gake.
We're waiting for you to finish.
I was finished. I paused and I said, "I'm done." In my head, I said, "Done." Rant over. There you go.
Yeah, WWE. It's like WWE make the. You'll agree with this one with me. WWE's trying to make the Young Bucks in WWE 2K, WWE 2K as a creator wrestler.
They already have. You know how many people have done that?
No, WWE is trying to make them on their roster. It's like their creator wrestler. It's like a knockoff version.
Okay, now I get it.
Thunder Feet gets it. It's like, you know how you have creator wrestler in WWE 2K? It's like WWE says, we can't get the Bucks, so guess what? We're gonna make them.
Oh God.
I just thought about that, but
my friend just got our sticker and got my Ghostbusters sticker in the mail.
That's cool. Yeah, like Everrise. Yeah, Meme Mania. That's right.
Yeah,
So-
me mania. Woo, woo, woo.
Yeah, because what's your thoughts on the whole thing with the Bucks and Everrise? Because I feel like they're just trying to play 2K19 with them or 2K20, whatever
That's
it is.
what I do. I don't care. I do that anyway. That's my thing. I love 2K19.
But you want to end the show?
You do? You want to end it?
You want to end it? It's up to you. Or do you want to watch
I think we're getting a little. You have nothing else to talk about, Geek?
Nah. Yeah, I think or
Nothing. Nada.
all right.
Cool. Geek, say goodbye.
All right. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. I want to thank our great guest Orlando for coming on. You know, Tony for that 5-second thing.
You're
Right?
gonna get mad at you for that thing.
Yeah, that 5-second cameo, right?
Yeah.
That he came on.
Charges for that. It's gonna come up on the bottom saying, "Hey, that $35 an appearance." And thank you once again. Let me do my little spiel. Thank you very much, Orlando from the Shark, for coming on the show. It's a pleasure and an honor. We
Hope
really
you come
hope to have you again and come back. And as I say always, thank you to my grandfather. Thank you for my cousin Pete Sanchez, and thank you Frank Martinez, the Blue Demon, for lighting the way for Latino wrestling. Good night, everybody. This is Joe the Panther Jr. saying goodbye, and stay classy.